Hey guys, how you doing? I actually had a couple of different Ukraine videos recorded that I was gonna, get going and eventually share out to the world. But then, of course, Russia decides in its infinite fucking wisdom that it's gonna launch a full-scale invasion with about 60,000 troops on 3 different fronts, and it's like, oh shit, oh shit. So they're all going to kind of get slam ditched into one with some predictions from yours truly. Now, I was only a corporal in the United States Marines. I don't know the inner workings of what our quote unquote generals are thinking, though I don't think they're thinking anything right now besides screeching with their heads cut off. But what do I know? But anyways, first off, I saw this, which was put out yesterday with CBS News, and boy, did they get slam dunked for this one, trying to fob off all the supply chain, inflation, all that on the Russia-Ukraine war. Because, let's face it, kids, it's no longer a crisis. It's a full-blown war. This is a full-blown invasion. It's a war. And CBS was trying to blame Russia for the last year and a half worth of inflation and everything going wrong with the economy. Fucking really, CBS? Yeah. What, this war between Ukraine and Russia has the property of going back in time to fuck up the U.S. economy? Get the fuck out of here with that mess. Just get the fuck out of here, and that's all I'm going to say on that one. Now, I have been seeing tweets like fucking Swalwell, who seems to think anybody who's not a Democrat is cheering on Russia, and we should be with Ukrainian democracy. First off, Swalwell, you fucking moron, Ukraine is a democracy! There are no true democracies on the fucking planet! Because direct democracy is nothing more than mob rule. God, I can't stand that shit. Now, thoughts and prayers with the people of Ukraine? Yeah, that sounds all well and good, but what they really need is material. Now, some of y'all leftist motherfuckers want us to military involve ourselves in Ukraine. No, we just untangled ourselves from 2 20-year entanglements. I spent 7 years of my enlistment dealing with them. Let's not say we did. Look, Ukraine was never admitted into NATO, which was a fuck-up, which would have prevented this, but the die is cast. The only thing that's going to help Ukraine now is munitions. And that's a shooting match at this point, because let's just be real. It's a numbers game in that war. Russia has way more. They got way more everything. Ukraine, they may put up somewhat of a fight, but in the end, they're probably going to get crushed under heel. And it's going to be another insurgency fight. The best we can do right now, because of this wishy-washy, will we, won't we bullshit since, Obama let Putin overtake Crimea, is just to give Raytheon a bone, sadly, and provide Ukraine with as much ammo, weapons, military supplies that we can. That's about all we can do. Because let me tell you something. No, I do not like Russia. No, I am not on Putin's side. But all you leftoids screaming the U.S. should do something, couple of things. Number one, we're not the world fucking police. It is not our job to stick our nose in something that ain't our goddamn business. Number two, we do not want to get into a shooting war with another nuclear power. Do you really want Putin and Biden backed up against the wall with their hands on a button? Because when one missile flies, they all fly, we all die. Let's not and say we didn't. Look, the United States and NATO, with all the fighting factions on who knows better, could have solved this a decade ago or more. They'd have just, when Ukraine asked, let them into NATO. They could have done it. Could have done it any fucking time they did. This is basically strategic oversight and blunder. And, yes, to prove the point, when Trump was in office, Putin shut his fucking mouth and didn't do a goddamn thing. Yes, that is very true. And the minute Joe Biden got in is the minute Putin decided, okay, it's time to pull the trigger. Because Biden was a weak fucking leader. all you Democrats screaming we should do something, you should have done something. Not elected Joe Biden, you fucking retards! But too late, here we are. Oh, and some further predictions. Do I think the big bombs are going to drop? Overall, no. Do I think we're going to have a global fighting all over the globe, which will colloquially be known as World War III? Quite possibly. It's all going to depend if China decides they want to swallow up Taiwan. Because if they decide to go after Taiwan, it's going to be a shooting match around the war. Everybody is going to air out their old grievances, and we're going to have shooting fights all over the fucking place. And the United States is going to rip itself apart because one side isn't want to get into someone else's war. The other side's going to scream about it, and we'll probably devolve into a civil war while everybody's having a fucking shit fit. So, yeah, it's all going to depend on what China wants to do. If China decides to say, no, we're just not ready for this and we're not going to do it, well, it's just going to be a European cockfight between Ukraine and Russia. And I don't think Putin is absolutely crazy enough to go after NATO countries. So Romania, Hungary, Poland, I don't think Putin's quite that stupid. Because he knows if he goes after a NATO country, the U.S. has to respond. And 7th Army's going to get mobilized. He doesn't want that fight. So NATO countries are pretty much safe from Russia. That being said, Ukraine, unless something drastically happens, I think, or Putin decides, he snaps up a couple of things and decides to leave the rest, Ukraine is probably going to fall. And we're going to probably have a 10-year insurgency until Russia decides it's had enough and runs the fuck away. But whether we see what I think will be World War III is all going to hinge on what China does. If China decides to go after Taiwan and quite possibly the Korean Peninsula, we got big problems. If China stays relatively quiet, we'll be okay. It'll just be a European cockfight between Russia and Ukraine. So anyways, those are my thoughts about what's going on. Let me know what you think below. Let's get this conversation started. And Ukraine, it's probably going to be bad. I hope you give them hell. And we'll have to see if Ukraine actually calls for volunteer mercenaries. Well, we'll see. Because you never know. But anyways, I'm Jeff. Catch you next time.